Alarms tear through the corridor before I even open my eyes. Red light floods my quarters. A voice on the ship's speaker says the words I have feared for 3 years. Enemy fleet detected, full mobilization, all hands to stations. I am Daniel Foss, Tactical Officer of the Earth Defense Fleet, and today, the sky above our planet is about to fill with more warships than humanity has ever built in its entire history. I run through the narrow halls of my cruiser, the Horizon, pulling on my flight jacket as I go. Crew members rush past me in both directions, faces pale, eyes wide. We knew this day might come. We trained for it. But knowing and facing are two very different things. On the bridge, Captain Elena Marsh stands before the main screen, her arms crossed, her jaw tight. The screen shows a swarm of dots, thousands of them, crawling out from behind our moon like a disease spreading across glass. "Report," she says without turning. "Long-range scans confirm it, Captain," says our sensor officer, a young man named Oliver Grant. "Dominion fleet, full armada, every carrier, every destroyer, every warship they have. They are not holding anything back." The bridge goes silent. Even the hum of the engines seems to fade. I have fought the Dominion before, in smaller skirmishes along the outer colonies. They are not like us. They do not bluff. They do not send half measures. If their entire armada is here, then they intend to end this war today, in a single overwhelming strike. "How many ships do we have ready to respond?" Captain Marsh asks. 42 capital ships, Captain, plus support vessels. 42 ships against an armada that fills half our scanner range. I feel my stomach drop. I have run the numbers before, during training exercises, during nightmares. There is no version of this fight where 42 ships defeat a fleet 10 times their size. We are not just outgunned, we are erased before we even begin. "Sound general alert," Captain Marsh orders. "Get every pilot into a cockpit. Get every gunner to a turret. We fight with what we have." I move to my station, hands already flying across the console, calculating firing solutions, mapping likely attack vectors, doing everything I can to give our small fleet even a sliver of a chance. But deep down, I already know the truth. We are about to lose everything. Then something appears on the long-range sensors that makes no sense at all. A single ship, unlike anything in our fleet, unlike anything the Dominion has ever used, blinks into existence between us and the enemy armada. It does not arrive the way normal ships arrive, sliding in from hyperspace with a visible trail. It simply appears, as if it had always been there, and our sensors only just noticed it. "What is that?" Captain Marsh demands, stepping closer to the screen. Oliver's fingers move rapidly across his console. "I don't know, Captain. It's not in any database. Not ours, not the Dominion's. The hull design, the energy signature, none of it matches anything on record. The ship is massive, larger than any capital ship in our fleet, built from a smooth, dark material that seems to drink in the light around it. Its surface pulses faintly with veins of blue energy, like something alive rather than built. My comm panel crackles. An incoming transmission, on a frequency I have never seen used before, forces its way through our communication systems, overriding every protocol we have. "This is Commander Grace Whitfield," a voice says, calm and steady, cutting through the tension on our bridge like a blade through fog. "Attention Earth Defense Fleet. Hold your position. Do not engage the enemy armada. We are here to assist." Captain Marsh exchanges a look with me. Assist? A single ship, no matter how strange, cannot assist against 10,000 enemy vessels. "Identify yourself properly," Captain Marsh says into her own comm. "What ship is that? Where did you come from?" There is a pause, then the voice returns, softer this time, almost sad. "We came from your future, Captain Marsh. 200 years from now. We know how this battle ends if we do nothing. That is why we are here, to change it." For a moment, nobody on the bridge speaks. I feel a chill run down my spine that has nothing to do with the cold recycled air of the ship. That's impossible, Oliver whispers. But the ship on our screen does not disappear. It does not waver. It sits there, silent and massive, between us and annihilation. I don't have time to convince you, Commander Whitfield says. The Armada will begin its assault in 4 minutes. I need your fleet to fall back to defensive formation Delta and let us take point. Trust me, Captain, or don't. But 4 minutes from now, you will wish you had. Captain Marsh's hands tighten into fists at her sides. I can see the war inside her, the instinct to reject something so impossible, fighting against the desperate hope that maybe, just maybe, this stranger is telling the truth. Fall back to formation Delta, she orders finally. All ships, defensive posture. Let them take point. The order spreads through the fleet. Our ships pull back, forming a protective wall behind the mysterious vessel from the future. I watch on my screen as the Dominion Armada begins its advance, thousands of ships surging forward like a wave about to crash over a single grain of sand. They're not slowing down, I say. Impact in 90 seconds. The strange ship's hull begins to glow brighter, the blue veins of energy pulsing faster, like a heartbeat quickening before a sprint. Then, without warning, panels along its surface open and release swarms of smaller ships, hundreds of them, sleek and fast, unlike any fighter craft I have ever studied. Captain, Oliver says, voice shaking, those fighters are moving faster than anything in our records. They're already engaging the lead elements of the Armada. On the main screen, I watch the impossible unfold. The small fighters weave between enemy vessels with precision that seems almost inhuman, striking exact weak points on the Dominion ships. Points that I know from years of study are notoriously difficult to hit, even under ideal conditions. Enemy ships begin to break apart, one after another, their formations crumbling into confusion. How are they doing that? I whisper. They know, Commander Whitfield's voice comes through again. We fought this war before, Officer Foss. We know every weakness the Dominion has, because we paid for that knowledge in blood, over 200 years of fighting. We are not stronger than them. We are simply not surprised by them anymore. The Armada's main formation begins to shift, trying to adapt to this new threat, but the future ship moves through the battlefield like it has already read the last page of the story. Every maneuver the Dominion attempts, the ship from the future counters before it fully begins. It feels less like a battle, and more like a lesson being taught to an enemy who refuses to learn. Captain, orders? I ask, gripping my console. Captain Marsh watches the screen with an expression I have never seen on her before, somewhere between disbelief and fierce, desperate hope. Hold formation, support where you can. Let's not waste this chance. I direct our secondary fleet to strike at the flanks the future ship's fighters have already weakened, picking off damaged Dominion vessels before they can retreat and regroup. For the first time since this battle began, I feel something other than dread rising in my chest. I feel the possibility of victory. The fight rages on, minutes stretching into what feels like hours. The future ship takes hit after hit, its hull flashing with impacts, but it does not fall. It absorbs damage that would have destroyed 3 of our capital ships combined, and keeps fighting, keeps striking, keeps guiding our fleet toward openings we would never have found alone. Then, at the center of the Dominion formation, their flagship begins to power up something massive, a weapon so large that our sensors struggle to even measure its output. Captain, that's a planet killer, Oliver shouts, his voice cracking with fear. If that fires, it could destroy the whole fleet in one shot, maybe even reach the surface. My blood runs cold. All of this, the future ship, the impossible tactics, all of it could still end here, in a single devastating blast. Commander Whitfield, Captain Marsh says urgently into the comm, their flagship is charging a weapon capable of mass destruction. Can you stop it? There is a pause, longer this time, heavy with tension. "We know about that weapon," Whitfield says finally. "We lost ships to it before. Officer Foss, I need your help. My name, spoken by someone from 200 years in the future, sends a jolt through me. Me? What can I do? Your calculations on Dominion energy routing, the ones you filed in the tactical database last year, they were dismissed by your superiors as too theoretical." "They were right, Officer Foss. In our history, those calculations became the foundation of the strategy that finally turned this war around. Feed them to my ship now." My hands move before I even fully process the request. Pulling up files I wrote months ago, ideas I had almost given up on, ideas everyone told me were too speculative to matter. I transmit them across to the future ship. Seconds later, the future ship's fighters change course entirely, diving toward specific points along the Dominion flagship's hull, points that align exactly with the theoretical weaknesses I once described in a report nobody wanted to read. The flagship's weapon flickers, sputters, and then explodes from within, a chain reaction tearing through its own power core. The blast rips the massive vessel apart from the inside, and without their flagship coordinating the assault, the rest of the Dominion Armada falls into chaos. Ship after ship begins to retreat, their formations broken, their confidence shattered. Within minutes, what was once an unstoppable armada is a scattered, fleeing mess, streaking away from Earth as fast as their engines will carry them. On the bridge, nobody moves for a long moment. Then, slowly, quietly, someone begins to laugh, and it spreads through the crew like wildfire, relief and disbelief mixing into something I can only describe as pure joy. "Commander Whitfield," Captain Marsh says, voice trembling slightly, "thank you. We would not have survived this without you." "You already did survive it," Whitfield replies, and I can hear something like warmth in her voice now. "That's why we exist, Captain. 200 years from now, humanity remembers this day. We simply came back to make sure it happened the way it was supposed to." The future ship begins to glow again, the same strange light that first brought it into our reality, now surrounding its hull entirely. "Wait," I say into the comm, stepping closer to the screen, as if it could somehow bring me closer to the ship itself. "Will we see you again?" There is a soft laugh on the other end. "You already have, Officer Foss. Every time you doubted your own ideas and pushed forward anyway. Every time humanity refused to give up when giving up would have been easier. That was us. Reaching back through time, even before we knew how. Keep believing in your own work. The future is counting on it." The light around the ship grows blinding, and then, as suddenly as it appeared, the vessel from the future is gone, leaving nothing behind but the wreckage of a broken armada and a fleet of survivors who now understand something they never fully believed before. The story of humanity was never written by strength alone. It was written by refusing to break, again and again, until even time itself decided to fight on our side.